We're live.
All right, we're live. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, you can do better than that. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
A couple of special announcements. As I mentioned about Tom Allen, there's going to be a memorial service Friday, 9 to 5 at the...
No, September 5th.
Say again?
September 5th, not 9 to 5, 9th month, 5th day.
Okay, I'll get there.
No, it's not 9 to 5, it's September 5th.
Yes, I know. It's September 5th.
I'll do it. I have it memorized.
Jay will tell us the special announcement about that.
Tom Allen's memorial service will be here Saturday, September the 6th at 3 o'clock. There will be a service in Sunset Funeral Home in San Antonio Friday night, September the 5th, from 5 till 8. So those are the two things. If you want to drive it, was that it? You want to ask?
The 5 to 8 is like the way Berwin kind of hangs out, and then the service is on Saturday, or the service.
I'm doing an abbreviated service on Friday night, and then the more one on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so, and it's the Sunset Funeral Home North, which is out here on 1604, not the one down in Austin Highway to Central. So that on Friday evening, and then Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Saturday at 3.
Jay, what were the times on Friday?
5 until 8, but that could be changing. That's what his sister told me. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Jay.
And then 3
And
o'clock.
then the announcements for today. Let's see, am I doing this one? Remember, we reuse the jackets in our order of service.
Now, using the
No,
announcements, I
I'm-
think.
I'll get there. Please turn off your cell phones and put them away for the remainder of the service. I'm David Coleman, it says so right here. I'm providing the music. I guess Javier's our usher, and Todd will be doing our camera work, and Ann King will be doing the slides. If this is your first time here, do we have anybody with that? Oh, please stand and tell us who you are. No pressure.
I'm regretting it from my hand. I'm here as a guest of my friend Allison, and she's been here a couple of times, so she's like y'all. She's Allison, and I'm Allison as well. Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
And if and this applies to everyone, we do send out our new newsletter email notices, so if you'd like to receive them, if you've been receiving them and are not anymore, check in the back and make sure that your email address is there. We only sell the email addresses to people we don't like. And there are many of our activities listed in our bulletin on the inside of the order of service, and the order of service inserts you can keep. Leave the outer 2 pages, which I can't remember the name for that now.
Jacket.
The jacket, thank you so much. And so, please stand. Oh, I have the announcements now. I'm just discombobulated. Tom always was the last one to lock up and leave, even if someone else opens. So we are looking now and in need of volunteers to take turns locking up, and we'll add that to our sign-up sheet. And if you can help in this way, please talk to Ann King. She'll make sure you have the right keys, and to go over everything with you to lock up this place. Doesn't take long. You don't need to stay until everyone leaves. Once the church is locked, anyone remaining can step outside on the porch and they can lock the gate when they leave. So remember, if you have any of that, you can talk to Ann, you can talk to me, you can talk to any of the board members, but Ann's taking the lead. And we do reuse the jackets. This is the next to the last Sunday of August. So please leave the jackets, take the order of service, And we also have a new September, October daily word. It's back there on the back table. It's free. Take one and use it for the next 2 months. As always, we collect dry goods and non-perishable supplies to pass on to various burning groups. And also today, we're having our luncheon after church at Shanghai. If you haven't checked with Ann and want to go, please get with her. And we have the following live groups every month. The Education Study Group every second and fourth Friday, 10 to 12. Gosh, it's good. And the men's brunch is the first Saturday of the month from 10 to 11:30. We just talk about whatever we talk about. Sunday morning book discussion we're having, it's at 9:30 to 10:30. It's the book we're studying and getting through it real quick because it's so good. Understanding Your Soul, the Channeled Wisdom of Jesus by Christine Bush. It is just fantastic. But we do have coffee, we have tea, and we also have lots of stimulating conversation. We have several things happening weekly on Zoom. It's in your order of service and also on our website at unityofburning.org. So now we will have our, if you will stand, we will have our celebration song. Excuse me, we will have our
Celebration?
Oh, is it Daily Word first?
the daily word is.
No, but they didn't want to
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
Morning is broken.
We're going to be singing our celebration song, Morning is Broken.
And we have no musician tonight.
And I am going to start it off. I need to have the slide. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the word. Sweet the rain to fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, even salt praise. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. That's all I know. So now we will have our daily word, and the word today is gratitude, and that's going to be read by, you may sit down. Be read by Christine. And I'm sitting down now.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is gratitude. The affirmation is, gratitude is my heart's song. Gratitude is my heart's natural response when I think of the best life has to offer. But sometimes, when I compare my circumstances with someone else's, or when I'm distracted by negative thoughts or challenging situations, my closed heart may feel resentment rather than gratitude. I let the first twinge of resentment remind me to return to gratitude. I pause, breathe, and remember the truth of my being. Knowing I am a unique expression of God, I open my heart and realize again the divine presence that is always with me. I mindfully reconnect with the indwelling life, love, wisdom, understanding, and strength that have helped me grow through even the most challenging experiences of my life. My heart sings with gratitude. From Psalm 86:12. I give thanks to you, O my God, with my whole heart. Again, you may repeat with me. The affirmation is, gratitude is my heart's song. My name is Chris. Thank you for being here to worship with us today.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. So now, if you will please stand. Inside your bulletin, of course, there's a prayer request. You can drop them in the offering basket later, and they'll be put in with our other prayer requests. You pray over them for a week. Jay prays over them, then they go to silent unity. We're going to have our miracle moment together.
I live, move, and have my being in love and power. Life answers my intention to do this, and burdens fall away as I walk confidently forward.
The light of God brightens my way, and so it is. Please remain standing. We're going to sing Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers poisonous, I have already passed. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far to freedom that will last. And now our unity mission statement. Together, please.
Unity of Learning is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you, and please be seated. I'll now turn it over to Jay for the blessing, the prayer request, and the remainder of the service.
Thank you, Dave. And again, good morning. Good morning to you. Welcome to Unity of Bernie. You're in the house that love built, and I bet you felt that when you walked in. Whether you're new or longtime members, there's just something about the sweet, sweet spirit of this place. But right now, at this time, one thing I do want to mention, we have a wonderful, wonderful friend of mine as a visitor, Danny Donovan from Unity of Kerrville. I want you all to give him a good Unity of Bernie welcome. And our other he is a really great guy. what we do now is bring our prayer requests to the fore in our mind. Sometimes we feel like we want to write them on paper. Other times we feel like we hold them inside. It doesn't matter. The Spirit inside us knows of what we have need and what we choose to release right now. Whether it's joy, we're happy about something. Usually it's something that we want understanding, clarity, or peace about. Either way, in all the spectrums in between, I invite you to place it on paper if you'd like, as Javier comes forward, or hold it in your mind. And either way, they will be prayed over by our wonderful prayer team for 30 days, as well as I will pray over them, and then they'll be sent to Silent Unity, and they'll be prayed over for additional 30 days. We believe in one kind of prayer in unity. That's answered prayer. So for those that you hold in your heart right now, for those things that maybe you can't even write down, maybe it's too hard, maybe whatever it is, congratulations, you're the place where the Spirit is present and where we lean on truth. Right now I ask you to join me in prayer. Loving and infinite presence, we give thanks that you are the light we live by, that we can call on you in our limited understanding for your greater understanding. We know that throughout our lives, you have been there whether we recognize it or not. And this morning, we turn towards this presence. We affirm that that which needs to be plain to us is made plain, and that which we need to understand is understood. Some of us are grieving this morning. We know that you are the comfort. You send your Spirit ahead. We tune into that right now. You appear as what we need right now. We affirm your presence. We know of your love. We feel it inside. And as we release peace, blessed peace, comes to us as we release our limited human understanding for the greater understanding, for the Spirit we carry inside us. We affirm you here, you are, your now, and so it is.
Things that we did have happen because Tom was gone is that Tom could not do the singing and do the playing. So I, in my infinite wisdom, said that I would do it. So but because we had a little mix up, the slides for the special music didn't make it, and so it's a very well-known song is In the Garden, and I think everybody here knows this. So I will sing it, and you guys sing along with me.
We have some hymnals in some of the chairs. Do we know what page it's on?
I have no idea, but I bet we all know it. So I'm going to start this. Let me start over, that's maybe a little too high. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the sun of God discloses, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and tells me I am his own, and the joy we share and we share, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds are singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and tells me I am his own. with him, though the night around me be falling, but he bids me go through the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And that's the end of that. So now we will say,
Surely the presence.
surely the presence. In the midst of his children, the Lord said that he would be. Doesn't take very many, it can be just two or three, and I feel that same spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say, I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rushing angels wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rushing angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
One of the wonderful things that we get to do is to meditate. It is said that talking to God is a conversation, listening to God is inspiration. And in this moment, we listen for that still small voice, understanding that as we do that, the 7 energy centers that are in us, some people call them chakras, some people call them energy wheels, doesn't matter what you call them, it matters that we recognize them and use them and unblock them, because they are energy sources that work off of each other throughout our bodies. Right now, through our crown chakra, for example, at the top of our head, we allow the release of things that disturb us, ideas that we have about ourselves that may be mistaken, things that we want to remember about ourselves. So I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths, be aware of your feet on the floor, hands in your lap. Usually we have a little meditation music, so I'll ask you inside to either you can be silent or hum something inside that you know when that feels good to you. We open ourselves right now to the inflow of divine ideas. We recognize the love that we are. And everything that is unlike the love that we are, we release and let go. In the silence, the voice of spirit is heard through the din of competing voices. And in this upcoming silence, we release and let go and fall back into the arms of divine love.
Just said silence is the element in which great things fashion themselves. And so in this upcoming moment of silence, may you feel your greatness, your love, your forgiveness, who you really are. And as we emerge from this time, we feel love, compassion, connection, awareness, peace, most of all love, because that's exactly who we are. We give thanks for this time and declare it is so.
Thank you. This morning I'd like to talk to you about light work. When we think about that, oftentimes we think about the idea of we don't have to do real hard work. We may advertise for somebody to help us in the newspaper, say, we have some light work for you to do. It's just not a whole lot of pushing and getting into it, but just light work. Well, there's another type of work that is light work in our position here at Unity of Bergen and throughout New Thought at large. We talk about dealing with the light. As a matter of fact, in my seminars, some 20, I don't want to say this.
It's been a while. I don't want to date myself too much. Been a while.
Too late.
Thank you. LIGHT, I decided it'd be a good idea to use this as L being living, I-N-G, God's H, holy T, thoughts. Living in God's holy thoughts. There's all kinds of things you could name it, but I like to think about that when I call in the light. And this is something that is very, very special to me. This idea that we are the bearers of light, that we are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. We are light. I'll tell you this, if there wasn't light, nobody could see us or anything. Light is what illumines this whole universe, as well as what's in this room. Light, the light and love of God. Does that sound familiar to you? The light came and the darkness left. Light doesn't do anything to announce its presence, but be. And that's what I think we should be able to do in our lives. To be human beings rather than human doings. So many times we attach a sense of our worth to the things that we do on this plane. But I'd like to take a few moments with you to think about the idea that you're so much more than what this narrow prism of your life would suggest this morning. Do you think of yourself, the old saying, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the postman, the salesman, whatever it may be? Our identities are so oftentimes wrapped up in the idea of what we do out there. So many times people pray. They pray for things to change out there, but they don't change in here. And when you haven't had that change in here, you're not really going to see what you want out there, because we live in a universe where energies resonate with one another. The prayers that we offer from ourselves go up and connect with everybody else who's thinking similar thoughts. Think about the power of that. Think about the idea that there is no distance in thought. Think about the idea that you can close your eyes right now, and if I said to Paris, France, Eiffel Tower, you're there. You can see it. We think in pictures, not in words. And yet, for communication devices down here, it's nice to communicate in words. It'd be very difficult to say, get a picture of this and get a picture of that. There's places for that, but we are able to communicate more freely with words. So when we speak the word, let us remember something. It is reflecting something that's in us. So if we speak the word for health and peace and harmony, and we're carrying disharmony, the darkness of disharmony, negativity, hurt feelings, all like that, we are going to attract that no matter what our words say, because our intention, as Gary Zukav said in The Seed of the Soul, in fact, he thought it was so important that he had 2 chapters on intention. Intention 1 and intention 2. The intention with which we speak is what comes back to us. It's what we see. Have you ever seen anything? Have you ever seen anything that you didn't first see inside? Now, wait a minute, I know what you're going to say. Well, there are things out there I didn't expect, things that just came up. True, but we see through the filters, largely through the filters of what we have stored in the past. I call them engrams. U.S. Anderson, who wrote 3 Magic Words, called them prompters. Freudian psychologist calls them, well, there's a long word for that. What he talked about was childhood complexes. We can have adulthood complexes. In other words, what I'm trying to say is to let the light in, to be the light we are. The only thing we have to do is get our narrowed, limited perception to step aside. The more that we're able to do that, the greater our lives are going to be, and the more that they're going to work. When you really are living in God's holy thoughts, you don't have time for condemnation, judgment, pain, anger, fear, negative. Go right down the list. Have you ever tried to argue with a happy person? Have you ever tried to pick a fight with someone who just won't do it? I remember in my own family, and I've used this lady as message material. I want to tell you, Hazel was a sweet lady, but she was about as negative as they come. And the reason that I say she was a sweet lady, she baked all these wonderful things for me and treated me perfectly. But she had the most pessimistic attitude of one that I ever saw. And there were things that I was able to learn from Hazel even at that young age, things that I didn't want to embody as I got older. I didn't want to criticize. I didn't want to be in a state of fear. I didn't want to have negativity. I wanted to reach out and touch greatness. I knew that in a strange way around 10 years old, but I divert on Hazel. Let me tell you about this life thing. One of the things that happened to me when I was 12 was after a wonderful, wonderful meal of deviled eggs from Hazel and sandwiches and all those things, I went out to play. And I laid on the grass. And the light was coming through the trees. And as kids do, you fumble and do everything, touching everything beside them. I took my fingers and I pulled my eyelids like this for whatever reason. All of a sudden, the shaft of light that came through that tree was not white. It was purple, red, yellow, gold, all green, all these things. I did it again. And I thought, wait a minute, why don't my eyes see that normally? And then I realized, even at that young age, that there was even some spectrum to light, different kinds of light. Do you realize that we have healing light, we have energetic light, we, most of all, have light inside us. And we bury it under a bushel so often in this way. I'm only one person. I was the third in my group of siblings. Well, I was told and I remember somebody telling me I wouldn't be very good at fill in the blank. We allow other people to mold our destiny. But when you do light work, what does light do when you turn it on in a dark room? He doesn't care if this space has been dark or it may be darker over here. There's no order of darkness. You flip on that light and it goes. Similarly, when you allow the love of God, when you live in God's holy thoughts, and you flip on that switch inside you, and you all know you will know what I'm talking about when I'm finished. You may know now. When you flip on that switch, there's nothing that can live that's negative in that life, unless we want to continue to give it life because it gives us a false life. Have you ever seen someone who is defined by the very worst things that ever happened to them? Have you also seen people who've taken the very worst things that happened to them and have made something beautiful out of it, or at least something that they could grow from? Have you ever seen someone who just refuses to accept the negative pronouncements that anyone has over their lives, and especially their own? This came to me clearly when I got to be a little bit older than 12, when in 1977, I think it was, I read a book called Your Erroneous Zones by Wayne Dyer. And what he talked about was the idea of giving up approval, the idea of trying to fit in with everyone else, trying to walk with the crowd. In other words, you walk according to your inner light. You have a inner candle that goes from you. The light goes from you, though the worst or whatever comes at you. It's something that can't be extinguished because it is. You are light this morning. If somebody hasn't told you this in however long it might be, I'd like you to start with the idea that you are a holy thought of God. And in doing so, you'll think of, well, wait a minute, God can't be angry, hurt, jealous? Well, in some religious traditions they can. But we're not in some religious traditions. We're in New Thought. We're in unity. And you know what we do? We praise the positive. We stand on the promises, the true promises. I've said ye are the light of the world. In him was the light, and that was the life of men. Do you realize I'm quoting scripture from the Christian Bible? Why? I've wondered so many times why traditional churches aren't as positive about these things. If they're there in black and white. You want to know why? It's much easier to take a verse out of context and scare the hell out of you or scare the hell into you. And I'm not about to spend my life, my ministerial career, doing seminars like I did 30 years. I am not going to play to the lowest in people. Jesus never did that. Ever. The only words that he had that you could consider angry were the money changers in the temples. He turned the tables over and he ran them out of there with whips, the money changers, because then he said, you have turned my Father's house into a house of merchandise. Well, we don't do that here. We affirm the good, the pure, the powerful, the positive, the wonderful, bringing that out of you. And how is that done? How do you do that for yourself? It's one thing to listen to this on a Sunday morning. It's another thing if I was to ask you your practice of getting on what my friends in concept therapy call getting on the beam. See, there, light again. What do you do to bring yourself back to who you really are? Or have you ever done that? Would that be a first for you? How would you do that? Well, I go back to the words of the master or masters. If you have aught against your brother or sister, pray to release that so that power can flow through. If you have any type of judgment against anyone else, any type of fear, anger, hurt, pray to have that released. Do what you need to do to have it happen. It's going to be a thought, whether you do it here or go to a therapist or a counselor over there. Eventually, to make life work, you're going to have to give it up. I say, why not do it right away? Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle of it, put the ideas up here like this. What I get from holding on to this idea, what I lose from holding on to this idea. Now I'll tell you something. When you put negative stuff on paper and you ask, what am I getting from holding on to it? You're not going to find anything. Your ego gets a charge out of it. I'm a hurt person. I'm a victim. I'm what they did to me. Well, what do you expect? Those are the things I've heard in the counseling office. I'm also a pastoral counselor. I listen. 15 minutes of counseling sessions with me, I'm going to listen. First thing, I want them to throw out, vomit out, whatever it is, throw out all the junk. And I tell them, let nothing stop you. Just let it go. This is 15 minutes. I want to hear it all. And you know, a lot of times they said that's exhausting to go through. You know why? It's exhausting to keep it and walk around with it. It's just that if we get to keep it and walk around with it, not give verbiage to it to someone, that's different than when we have to say it out. When you speak the word, something inside you know you're speaking with authority. But we speak words so many times in our life of things that we don't want. And when it comes to us, as it will, because we're looking for evidence, when we speak certain things about life and ourselves, we're also looking for evidence that we're right. The ego loves to be right. It answers the question, would you rather be right or happy, with the idea that I want to be right? How silly we humans can be. The decision, the point of making the decision is always in the present moment. You know, there's no past or future. The past was now then, the future was now, it's now right now, it's always going to be now. So how about releasing the idea that, well, in my past there was. You know where that past is? It's here. It's not there. It's over. Where's that future? It's not out there, it's here. You're either regretting something or having anxiety about something if you're living in negativity about those 2 points, past and future. How about the bright and holy now? How about the give me light for this moment? Have you ever heard that? If one step I ask, one day at a time. Alcoholics Anonymous, the great 12-step group, they don't ask for light for 100 months from now. They say, one day at a time. That's how habits are formed. One step, one day, most importantly, one thought at a time. Now, when you deal with this thing called light, there's something, well, when I deal with it, and I hope you will too, there's something that I do, and I've started doing it since I did seminar, I think it was back in 2002. I place light columns in places. What does that mean? Wherever I see negativity or hurt or pain, I call on the spirit inside me, of light, and I say, a light column needs to be established here. And I want to foster it to help it grow with my love. I see when people are in pain or upset, I see divine holy light surrounding them. That's not just me. Our prayer at the end says the light of God surrounds us. Well, if it was good enough for James Dillard Freeman to write in 1943 during the height of World War II, it sure is good enough to use right now. I want you to think of your life right now as something that's brand new. You know what Marcus Aurelius said, the great Stoic? He said, think of yourself, this is going to be kind of non-unity, but it gets there. Think of yourself as dead. Now, think of yourself as alive and living your life from here on out. In other words, the dead past is over, you're finished, walk on in newness of life. What are you when you're not carrying that junk? Do you remember, I remember I had as a child a wagon, a little red wagon. And oh, the junk that I would pull and get in that stuff. Because it made me feel like I was getting things. There was a bottle I could go in. Remember taking bottles back for 5 cents? Oh, am I dating myself? Remember the things that you would go on a scavenger treasure hunt. You may not have had a wagon, but you came home loaded down with I had a rock, a bottle, a piece of paper. I had somebody's newspaper. I don't know how, I must have done something bad. I don't know. But my mother came outside. And she called my father. My father's name was Jay. She said, Jay, look at what he's got in that wagon. And my dad said, well, it means something to him. And then my dad got down on his knee, he said, what did you find? Is it interesting? And I said, yeah. And he would engage me over silly rock or newspaper or a bottle. Because that's what he had inside. That was the kind of man he was. And I miss him so much. Because he was excited over people being excited. Especially his son. He would always say to me, what's the good word today, Jay? And even if I didn't feel necessarily like I had had a chance to find that word out, I came up with one so as not to disappoint him. He raised me to be a good finder. And when I went into ministry, I wanted to talk to people as a good finder. I didn't want to tell them they were sinners, miserable sinners in need of grace. Do you want to know that theology that I study breaks the love of God down into 3 pieces? This is interesting to me. Maybe it is to you. The grace of God is called prevenient, justifying, and sanctifying. 3 different. Now, I'm not knocking the other fellow's product, but it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, prevenient is the grace that God has that calls you to Him. Justifying is the grace that says, I love you just like you never did it. And sanctifying means go forth and don't do this again. Nothing wrong with that, but why not just grace, period? In fact, why don't we get rid of the gatekeepers of grace, throw it wide open and say you're loved? You know why? You put a lot of seminary professors out of business. They need those big words. They need epistemology. They need to talk about things that are very complex because it keeps them in business. You know what keeps me in business? Love. You know what I want to see in people? Happiness. You know what I want to see? A lack of guilt. Wayne Dyer said it so well. Carrying a load of guilt around is like carrying a load of rocks on your back and saying, I'm so good for doing it. Where was their guilt in the words of the masters? Any masters. Not only Christ Jesus, but where do you remember any person that you may hold in esteem or revere tell you that you need to feel guilty? Guilt is an absolute waste of time. If you've done something, and I'll say this because, I'm a movie lover, and I happen to love the movie Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and some of you may have remembered Burl Ives' Burly character. He played Big Daddy, and he was big. And Paul Newman was his son. And his son was going on and on about how he wished he hadn't done this, if only he hadn't done that, and I'm bad for this. And Big Daddy said, son, if there's something you need to quit doing it. If there's something you need to start doing it. That's about it. That ends the drama. I'm here to tell you today, quit worrying about those things that were in the past. Quit giving them life. You're pumping life into ghosts. You're having entities walk with you. Let me tell you, you'll find plenty of company when you do this negative stuff. You'll start attracting people. Well, how did that get in my life? Well, did you watch what you were thinking? Did you give a thought to the thought that you're entertaining? Light work is more than flipping on a switch, even inside you. Light work is recognizing you've never been out of favor with the God who loves you. You may have done some things that you wish you hadn't done. We all have. It's called life. Mistakes are common. In Hollywood, mistakes are common in making a movie. You have a mistake, you do it again. But we add drama to it. We make it worse. And you notice sometimes when we tell the story about our guilt, have you ever noticed our negativity, it gets worse with each telling. It's like a game of telephone that we used to play as kids. You start with one idea and go around the room, and when you got to the other person, the original idea that, I have a red car became, I have a red truck and I live in Oklahoma. I mean, things get added to it by just people talking, or kids talking. The things and the stories you tell yourself are going to be the ones you believe, because after all, you'll say, I'm the only one who's been with me all these years. But is it a good relationship? Is it nourishing? Is it toxic? Is it something that you wish that you could have made a different decision about then because you carry it now? Let me tell you, you can make a decision differently now. Don't worry about the passage of time. It's always now. It's never too late. You're never too far gone. The people that I'm talking to, I know online, that have talked to me about the idea that it's just, I'm washed up, I'm finished. Are you kidding? Did you wake up? Are you breathing? You have a chance to do it again. Even if you can't move, you have a chance to think about it again. You have a chance to entertain new ideas. I'm getting very, very excited about it. Because new life, reaching out and grabbing new life is an act of courage. Think about that. Think about the courage that you have to say, I'm leaving this behind. I'm, again, forgetting those things which are behind. I press forward toward the mark of the high calling. Not my words. Words straight out of Scripture. St. Paul said it. Can you say it for yourself? Can you let the light in this morning? Just a little. Just release something that you may have held on to for a while. Now, maybe all of you, or some of you, have all this handled and taken care of. But I find in the human experience, we're always like magnets picking up things for the ego to roll round and round. I want to interrupt that flow this morning, and I want to tell you the way to do it. The way to do it? Simple. forgiveness of yourself and others. Primary importance, forgiveness of yourself and others. Inspiration that determines I will walk in a new way. And with whom? The one that never left you no matter what. The ones that's been by your side even when you made all those mistakes and all those things you're embarrassed about and all those things you'd give anything if you hadn't done. Guess who was with you then? The light, the love, God. And it's with you this morning. May you live in God's holy thoughts. May you let the light in this morning. May your brilliance shine so bright that it blinds the rest of us. And we want what you have. That's what you can do with the idea of changing your mind and releasing your limited human understanding with a greater divine understanding. I see each one of you doing it. I call it forth. I believe in it. I uphold it. I affirm it. And I say, it is so. Bless you all this morning. Thank you. And now we come to the part of our service where we are privileged to give back part of what we receive. And we know that when we give, you know, I think about it, the seeds in my yard. I drop a few seeds, and sometimes I get hundreds of blossoms from a few seeds. It's the way the universe works. And if you give with a joyful heart and you give with expectancy, you really supercharge this law. I ask you to give the best gift of which you're able. For you to give Bernie does so many good things. And you know about them. I could brag on them all day, but you know. Thank you. As Javier comes forward, give your best. Thank you. Thank you.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. All that I give and receive.
And to you who are tuning in online, I invite you to give the best gift of which you're able. You've told me how much this service means to you. You've showed it in your numbers. Our Facebook dashboard is just incredibly full of your viewing it, and we're so thankful for that. Would you please press the PayPal button at our website, unityofbernie.org, or send your gift to Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. That's Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. Thank you for tuning in, and bless you this morning. Yeah. All right, together we say,
The love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
and so it is. Thank you.
Love can
Build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
And before I release everyone this morning, I want to thank David Coleman for stepping up in Tom's stead. You know, we miss him so much. It is true. But David has come in to try and make everything easier with our sound and leading singing this morning. He's a wonderful guy, a poor judge of tithes. but a wonderful guy.
So we're going to sing our peace song. And if I may just take 30 seconds before we do this. Can we just remember Tom for 15 seconds? Thank you, Tom. You are very much missed. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together we say, the
Light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
How do I turn it off?